Hey guys! So the 2019 pageant season is officially over. It's time to do an end of the year review for 2019. Let's find out which 10 pageant related stories made waves online, on social media, and on national and international news. A much longer and detailed version of my review can be read at the official Critical Beauty website. There are other things on the website that I will not mention in this video, so make sure to visit the link in the description box below. And if you're new to this channel, welcome! And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon below to receive instant notification for the next video. Let's start with number 10, the problem of national identity and representation. When the new Miss Panama 2019 was crowned on June 20th, many Panamanians were not happy with the new queen, Mère Eliezer. Why? Because Eliezer was born in India of Indian parents who emigrated to Panama when she was a young girl. Apparently, she was not considered to be a true Panamanian, even though she speaks Spanish fluently and is a Panamanian citizen. On June 13th, Madison Anderson was crowned Miss Universe Puerto Rico, much to the horror of many Puerto Rican fans who did not consider her as a real Boricua because she was not born in the island but in Florida. She could barely speak Spanish and she looks like a blonde Barbie doll. After she was crowned, the hashtag No Me Representa, which means does not represent me, quickly gained traction on Twitter, with users listing all the things that Madison doesn't do or is not familiar with because she did not grow up in Puerto Rico. Nevertheless, her critics eventually warmed up to her and ended up fully supporting her, especially after she placed second in Miss Universe 2019 contest. At number 9, the Meanest Girl. If you're looking for the most hated queen in 2019, that label belongs to Araiha Coco Suparurk. Coco was crowned Miss Grand Thailand 2019 on July 13th, which gave her the right to represent her country in Miss Grand International 2019 pageant. After being under fire for calling Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray fat on her social media, Coco said that she would apologize to Catriona only if Cat will message her directly. Coco referred to a meme she had shared to her followers that showed Miss Grand International 2018 Clara Sosa of Paraguay in a swimsuit being labeled as fit and Catriona labeled as fat. Even though she has a mean streak, at least Coco is being honest. Catriona fans were elated when Coco failed to win Miss Grand International 2019, placing only third. At number 8, Miss Sing America. The Miss America 2020 pageant, they now call it televised job interview. Let's start all over again. The Miss America 2020 televised job interview was held on December 19, 2019 at the Mohegan Sun Casino and Resort in Connecticut. The lucky woman who got the job was Miss Virginia Camille Schreier, a biochemist and a pharmaceutical student. Despite the changes in the contest that includes eliminating the swimsuit competition, that physical appearance would no longer be judged, the resignation of CEO Gretchen Carlson after 17 months of leadership, and returning to NBC after a year of stint on ABC, the pageant scored a 0.6 rating in the adults 18 to 49 demographic and 3.61 million viewers for its 2-hour run. The pageant's new format also drew harsh criticisms on Twitter. One stinging tweet reads, quote, "This feels like the most cheap, homemade, low-budget mess, and these women deserve better." At number 7, queens dethroned for their conservative views. In July, Kathy Zhu, a pro-Trump commentator, was stripped of her title as Miss World Michigan because of her conservative views. Pageant officials told her that, quote, offensive, insensitive, and inappropriate posts she made on social media about blacks and Muslim women violated the organization's rules and conditions, according to screenshots Zhu had shared on Twitter. Zhu pushed back at the organization by claiming that the tweets were just statistics and facts and that she was discriminated against. In August, Katie Williams claimed that she lost her Ms. Nevada crown due to her conservative views as well. According to Summit News, the director of the pageant, Susan Jeske, sent screenshots to Williams showing which pictures she needed to delete. They included pictures of her wearing a Trump 2020 hat, as well as photos of her professing her love for America and her opposition to radical leftist group Antifa. At number 6, Binibining Pilipinas loses Miss Universe franchise. For over 50 years, the Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated, or BPCI, spearheaded by Stella Marquez de Araneta, has owned the Philippine franchise for several international pageants, including the biggest and most prestigious one, Miss Universe. Under Stella's belt, the Philippines won 4 Miss Universes, 6 Miss Internationals, 1 Miss Supranational, 1 Miss Intercontinental, 1 Miss Globe, and countless runners-up and semi-finalists. However, IMG Universe, the owner of Miss Universe, decided not to renew its contract with BPCI and offered the franchise instead to the newly created Miss Universe Philippines organization, whose core team consists of former Miss Universe Philippines 2011 Shamsi Supsup as the national director, Miss Universe Philippines 2007 Lia Ramos as head of Women Empowerment Committee and Charity, Albert Andrada as the design council head, and Jonas Gofford as the creative director. With the Miss Universe franchise gone from its hands, BPCI must now focus on producing the next Filipino winners for Miss International, Miss Supranational, Miss Globe, Miss Intercontinental, and Miss Grand International, which is yet to be won. At number 5, Samantha Lo's lowest point. During the Binibining Pilipinas 2019 pageant last June, Samantha Ashley Lo was crowned Binibining Pilipinas Grand International 2019, which gave her the right to represent the Philippines and Miss Grand International 2019 pageant held in Caracas, Venezuela on October 25th. She left Manila on October 9 to travel to Caracas. However, her fans were surprised when she failed to show up in any of the competition's pre-activities. Neither did she give any updates on her whereabouts. According to the official statement released by BPCI, Lo, quote, was detained by immigration officials in Paris and was eventually sent back to Manila due to issues with her Philippine passport, which had been altered with and tampered, end of quote. Lo's parents had admitted that her passport had been issued through a fixer. According to Lo, the local organizer failed to equip her with the proper transit visa that could have enabled her to complete her earlier trip to Venezuela. She eventually arrived in Caracas on October 25th and was able to compete in the preliminaries, but failed to advance in the finals, even though she was among the top 10 most popular in votes. Critics attributed her loss partly to her seemingly over-the-top signature Maria Clara walk during the evening gown competition. On November 27th, a month after she competed in Miss Grand International, Lo submitted her letter of resignation to BPCI. At number 4, Miss Grand International embraces danger. When Nawat Isaragrizio, the president of Miss Grand International, announced last July 25 that the next edition of the pageant would be held on October 25th in Caracas, Venezuela, pageant fans quickly condemned him for taking the pageant to a country that has been suffering from political and economic turmoil for decades and that is considered as one of the most dangerous places in the world. The number of contestants, 60, was much lower than last year's, which was 75, due to delegates withdrawing for safety reasons or that they were unable to secure a visa on time. The girls stayed mostly inside the hotel and had their outdoor photos taken in relatively safe tourist sites in the city. The pageant did not get much support from the Venezuelan people. Some fans even believe that Nawat had chosen Venezuela as the host country, not because he wanted to prove that it is a safe country, but that he intended to make it as a launching pad to promote his passion to the Latino market. And this is why the hometown girl, Valeria Figuera, won. At number 3, the end of Philippine supremacy. For the last 5 or 6 years, the Philippines has maintained its title Country of the Year because of its highly successful performance and prolific victories in various international pageants. However, in 2019, the country failed to win even one of the major pageant titles and has to settle for either a top 10 or a top 20 position. Filipino fans were hoping for a back-to-back Miss Universe victory with their representative Gazina Ganados, who failed to reach the top 5. Meanwhile, Thailand, which was the second best country in 2018, surged to the top with a phenomenal performance in 2019 that included winning Miss International and Miss Supranational titles, a top 5 spot in Miss Universe, a top 20 spot in Miss Earth, and a top 40 spot in Miss World. At number 2, the worst edition of Miss Universe. 2019 proved to be the worst year for the Miss Universe organization from a logistical perspective. Where do I even start? First of all, the date and venue was announced on October 31, barely 5 weeks before the finals held on December 8. The venue, the Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta, could only hold 2,200 seats, which is very limited for a pageant of such magnitude. The tickets for the finals were sold out literally within seconds. Instead of live streaming the preliminaries and the national costume shows for free, Miss Universe organization imposed a $10 pay-per-view fee for each show, which angered the fans, many of whom could not even afford to pay. It was the worst production I had ever seen, which I elaborate in my review. Click link in the description box. And number 1, the Black Girl Magic Phenomenon. For the first time in the history of pageantry, the winners of all 5 major titles have been won by Black or partially Black women. Nia Franklin, representing New York, was crowned Miss America 2019 on September 9, 2018. Kaylee Garris of Connecticut, whose mother is white, was crowned Miss Teen USA 2019 on April 28. 4 days later, Chesley Christ of North Carolina, whose father is white, was crowned Miss USA 2019. Zozibini Tunzi of South Africa was crowned Miss Universe 2019 on December 8 in Atlanta. Tunzi is also the first Black South African woman to win Miss Universe. And finally, Tony Ann Singh of Jamaica, who is part Indian, was crowned Miss World 2019 in London on December 14th. Supporters of these outstanding women state that the recognition reflects today's evolving perception of beauty. It is beyond Barbie light, or an era when contestants were desired solely for straight hair, light skin complexion, and an hourglass figure. Finally, the universe is giving value to Black skin, says Lila Lopez, a former Miss Angola who was crowned Miss Universe in 2011. Oprah Winfrey also praised Zozibini Tunzi for her leadership. The new Miss Universe put it best in her closing statement on December 8. Quote, "I grew up in a world where a woman who looks like me, with my kind of skin and my kind of hair, was never considered beautiful. I think it is time that stops today. I want children to look at me and see my face, and I want them to see their faces reflected in mine." End of quote. And there you have it, my end of the year review of pageantry in 2019. Do you agree or disagree? Comment below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and share. A big thanks to the new subscribers and to our current subscribers for continuing to support this channel. Until the next time, I wish each and every one of you a happy and prosperous new year. Bye!